G'day guys, today we're taking a look at another mini thermal Bluetooth printer. I got mine from the Salvos, which is a thrift shop in Australia, for only $1, but they generally go for around $30 or $40 Australian on eBay. The printer itself is quite small, it's about half the size of our other thermal printer, which we showed previously, and there's not really much to it. On the top, you've got a power button, along with a small indicator LED, and the paper output slot. There's not too much on the sides, only a USB-C charging port, and there's nothing on the bottom. According to the label on the back, this printer model is C15. However, looking online, that doesn't seem to mean too much. A lot of these printers are sold in slightly different cases, all under different names, but they all generally look the same. To load paper, all you have to do is lift up the top flap. Mine didn't come with any printer paper, but it does take standard 57mm by 38mm thermal paper, which you can find on eBay for around 35 cents each in packs of 100. Inside is a small plastic spindle, which just comes out. You slide your paper on it, and the spindle doesn't seem to do too much. The paper just sits in and just close the flap. To turn it on, all you have to do is hold down the power button for a few seconds, and the blue LED should start flashing. There is a built-in test print feature. All you have to do is press the power button twice. Unfortunately, there is no paper feed button, so if you wanted to cut it a little bit further down, you would have to open the paper flap, take the paper out, unspool it manually, pop it back in, and then you can tear it normally. That is the test print there. It tells us the battery percentage, which is 50% for me, the Bluetooth name, which is YHK4C4B, and my Bluetooth MAC address. You don't really need to know any of that information if you're just using the Android app, but you would need to know this if you were trying to pair it to a computer, which we'll cover a little bit later. So we'll pair it to my phone now. Just clicking pair new device, and it is the YHK4C4B. The app it recommends you to use is WalkPrint, but I have noticed it does work with Fun Printer as well. We'll start off with Fun Printer, and we'll click Find Printer. Click Scan. There it is there, YHK4C4B, and click Connect. Now it is connected. We'll click Start Print, and we'll take a photo of the printer itself. Click Yes to use it. We won't crop it, we'll leave it as is. Click Skip. We get a preview of how it's going to look when it comes out, and we can change the dithering pattern by swiping. So this is Atkinson, Floyd Steinberg, False Floyd Steinberg, Burks, Sierra, 2 Row Sierra, Sierra Light, Jarvis, Judas Ninky, Stucky, ordered 2x2 Bayer, ordered 3x3 Bayer, 4x4 Bayer, 8x8 Bayer, simple left to right, error diffusion, random dithering, which does look pretty terrible, simple threshold, and text. You would use text for high contrast, black and white text. We'll leave it on Atkinson, just because I find it does look the best. We'll click Print Now. As you can see, it was fairly slow to print. That is what our printout looks like. It's not too bad. We'll close out of this app and we'll try WalkPrint, which is the recommended app. Since we did already pair the printer in the other app, you can see at the top, it does have the battery indicator saying it is low. A lot of features in this app are locked behind creating an account, but you can still print simple text and photos without one. We'll go New Note. We'll just type in hello. At the top right, click the little search icon. You can change the paper type, the contrast. We'll keep it all as standard for now. And again, just click print on the top right. It did put the time and date and a very little logo at the bottom between our text. That is a little bit annoying, but it would be good for taking notes. Next, we'll try label printing. There are a heap of templates available, which is pretty good. We'll try ingredients labeling. So you can see we've got a nice little border. We'll tap text at the bottom and we'll call it chili. We'll also change the font size. So that is the biggest we can make it. Again, when we're ready to print, tap the top right icon. We'll leave the contrast and all the settings default, since it did come out pretty okay last time. At the bottom, it does say print not on time. Click the calibrate button. I'm not too sure what that means, but we'll try clicking calibrate. It did just print out a blank page. As you can see here, nothing on it. So that's a bit weird. We'll ignore that and we'll click print anyway. So there's our label. Tear it off. And there you have it. It actually came out quite well. It's definitely worth noting that if you stick clear packing tape over your thermal prints to try and protect it or adhere it to a jar or container, it will quickly fade the print in around 12 to 24 hours. So this clear packing tape here is just from Kmart, the cheap stuff. It does completely fade them. So it's recommended you don't cover it in any kind of tape to try and preserve your prints. I think we'll close out of this and we'll try and connect it to our Windows 10 computer. We're over on our Windows 10 computer now. I've got Device Manager open. Ignore the unknown device, that is just part of the Chromebook. And I've got my non-high quality USB-C phone cable, which does have data pins, and we'll just plug it into our mini printer. So we've got my mini thermal printer. Just gonna plug it in. You can see the red charging light does turn on, but there is nothing in Device Manager. So it looks like there is no data pins on the USB-C port, and it is strictly just for charging. I was hoping it would show up as a standard serial device, like our other printer, but unfortunately it's just not the case. We'll unplug it and we'll try and connect it over Bluetooth. So I've turned the printer on, close out of Device Manager. So we're in our Bluetooth settings. We'll go add Bluetooth or other device. Bluetooth, there it is, YHK4C4B. It also showed up as a heart rate monitor, I believe, or at least the heart rate monitor icon. We'll click done and we'll check printers and scanners to see if anything showed up. It has not. MTP2 is our Gucci print printer, and so is POS 58. That is also our other Gucci print thermal printer. So it is connected over Bluetooth, but it just doesn't show up as a printer. It does mention that it's paired if we go down, but it doesn't detect it as a serial device or a printer. We'll have a look in Device Manager once more, and unfortunately nothing. Not all hope is lost, however. Someone has gone to the effort of sniffing the data between the app and the printer to try and reverse the protocol, and they were successful. However, it is only a Python script. There is no graphical front end. We scroll down, you can see it does look different to ours, but it does use the same hardware inside. They go over how they reversed it and how to use the script. We won't get into this today, but if it's something you're interested in, let me know down below and we'll try come back to it in a future video. There was also another promising program called iPrintUtility, which did have a graphical front end, and it was designed for these mini thermal printers. However, it does not work with the models that broadcast a YHK Bluetooth address. Something else worth noting is it looks like Kmart Australia used to sell a very similar Bluetooth thermal printer, and looking at the manual for this specific printer, it also broadcasted the YHK Bluetooth address, so it's most likely the same hardware in a different case. Looking at stock in Sydney, which is the default, it does seem to be in stock at Bondi Eastgate still, and also in Stafford in Queensland. So they do still sell this printer in some places, and looking at the date code on the manual that you can download online, it was from last year, 2024. On the same page, under recommended items, it also mentions that they do sell the thermal sticker paper for these printers, and they do still seem to be in stock. It is a little bit more expensive than eBay or AliExpress, but it's definitely handy not having to buy a 100-pack or wait for shipping. I did mention in my previous thermal printer video that you can use old supermarket receipts, ones from places like Woolies, Kmart or Aldi's. They are slightly wider, so you would have to roll it up into a small cylinder, measure it with a ruler, and cut it to size. Again, 57mm. The printer is definitely cute, and the print quality is reasonably acceptable, especially for the price and size. It is slow to print, so it wouldn't be ideal to use in a shop at a point of sale. There is no real PC support outside of the Python script, at least for this exact model, but the Android app did work perfectly fine. In my experience, the thermal prints do last quite a while, easily into the years, as long as you don't stick any clear packing tape on it, which will fade it in around a day. Also, try not to expose it to direct sunlight, as the high UV does tend to turn the paper black. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.